Oh,
Joanne has to get something. So,
okay. Yeah, by all means. Hi, Joanne.
You guys are doing a good job. I'm getting the joy.
Joanne.
okay.
V Gates, Joanne. V Gates.
All right.
Good day, everyone, and welcome to Overlanders Then and Now. I'm Tom Bingle, and I'm with my fellow mountain climber and overlander, Jim King. V Gates, Doc.
Oh, I have no idea what that means, but as always, I'm impressed with your
Yeah.
multilingualness. So,
Jimmy.
so if you were
Jimmy.
asking hey, by the way, you're not in your man cave. Where are you?
Jimmy, I'm down on the New Jersey shore, and
Nice.
interesting, Jimmy, the beach is phenomenal. It's so long, hard sand you can walk on, and it's quite wide, so it's really delightful. The New Jersey shore, Jimmy.
Yeah, the Jersey Shore. Joanne and I were down Cape May a month or two
Mm-hmm.
ago, and the beaches
Mm-hmm.
are just fabulous. And the sand there, though, is soft. But anyway, you and I lived in California for a couple of years, and the
Yeah.
beaches there are hard
Mhm.
to beat. But
Yeah.
the Jersey Shore comes
Yeah.
close, if not
Yeah.
exceed it. But anyway, let's
All
get back
right.
to our travels, which,
Uh-huh.
48 years ago, it was
Yeah.
November, and we were exactly 1 month into our journey. Do you remember where we were?
Oh, Jimmy, after Innsbruck,
Yeah.
Austria, of heading straight over to Switzerland as planned, no, we headed back to Bavaria, Germany's Alpine region. Somewhere along the line, Doc, we met a fellow backpacker who told us about this cute little town, Oberammergau,
Right.
a beautiful Alpine town that we shouldn't skip. So once again, Jim, a change in our carefully laid plans.
Yeah, and once again, a change in plans that we didn't regret. In
Yep.
fact,
Mhm.
looking back, it
Yeah,
may have
yes,
been one
mate.
of the most impactful stops along the way, forcing us to think about how we wanted to spend the final month of our journey, or,
Yeah,
if it would
yeah.
even be the end of our journey. Spoiler alert, it wasn't.
Thanks, Jimmy. Thank you. Jimmy, we'll get to what was going on in our 22-year-old brains when we got to Oberammergau in a minute, but we made some other memorable stops, Jim. Oberstdorf being one of those. What does your now 70-year-old brain remember about that town, that village?
Well, I'm glad I kept a journal, or this 70-year-old brain might not have remembered some of those memorable
Yeah,
towns,
yeah, yeah, right.
but I did check my journal, and we
Yeah.
arrived in a snowstorm, and it was beautiful.
Oh,
The
yeah.
town was decked out for Christmas, and the snow
Yeah.
was falling, and
Yeah.
it was really like a Hallmark Christmas card.
Jimmy, yes, you're spot on. There was even a child's choir singing Christmas carols as we came in on the street. Unbelievable.
Oh, really? My 22-year-old brain
Yeah,
didn't
Jim.
record that in my journal,
Oh,
but
yeah.
it did record another example of the famous Thomas Bingle approach to getting directions from non-English speakers.
Oh, Jim, it's classic. Doc, in this case, I'll never forget, Jim. We needed to find a youth hostel, and it was
Yep.
difficult because, Jimmy, we were in a blizzard. We were in a mountain
Yeah.
blizzard, and
Yeah.
the hostel was out of town, if I recall directly or
Yeah.
correctly, right, Jimmy?
Yep, you do.
Yeah.
According to my journal, it was 3 kilometers away from where
Oh,
we were.
wow, John, kilometers, Jimmy. You must have been in a very metric state of mind. Jimmy, what's that? How many miles is that,
Just
Jimmy?
short of 2 miles.
Oh, really?
Google
God, it
tells me.
seemed,
That's Google.
Jimmy, it seemed longer, I guess
It
because
did.
of that storm. Unbelievable. Jimmy, but fortunately, walking, we did meet two girls, and I broke into my usual stutter and mixing up the words in order to make it very clear as I asked Doc the famous backpacking phrase in Germany. You ready? Wo ist der Jugendherberg?
Well, I don't speak German. I'm sure that's perfect. So I don't know why one of the girls answered back in English.
Well, thank God they understood you because I'm not sure we would have made it otherwise. Given that snow, and Jimmy, I always remember the directions: route up and down hills. There's a creek which we couldn't find, and
Yep.
meeting them was one of the serendipitous moments that makes travel, Jimmy, interesting and incredible. Just keeps
Yeah.
it going.
Serendipitous. Yes, absolutely. Another incredible stop was Neuschwanstein, the castle that
Yeah,
inspired Walt Disney when he was
yeah,
designing the
yeah.
Magic Kingdom castles. So, Your thoughts on that, Binks?
Jimmy, I remember Neuschwanstein of the Disney Castle, built by the Mad King Ludwig. It looked, Jimmy, more impressive from the outside, at a distance, looking through some, mountains, beautiful backdrop. Jimmy, it was magical, the view from the outside, so to speak, from a distance.
Yeah, oh, definitely spectacular. And one thing I do remember, it's kind of funny, is I remember when we went inside, that perspective from your perspective, which surprised me, it didn't compare to that special moment when you first
Yeah.
see the castle set
Mhm,
against that
mhm.
beautiful background. And yeah, you were kind of either unimpressed or I don't know, whatever, but I was kind of relieved. Anyway, my camera hadn't been stolen yet, and I was lucky enough to
Good,
get a,
good.
a, a great shot of that castle. It was great.
Yeah.
Now before we uh, get back to Oberammergau, sorry, a quick word or two about another stop that made a big impression on
Uh-huh.
you. I actually don't remember
Yeah.
stopping there.
Hmm.
We might have split up for the day or two, but
Yeah, I think,
that
yeah.
stop proved very
Yeah, Jimmy.
significant for you. No, I'm not going to try to
Yeah,
pronounce it. Garmisch something.
Partenkirchen.
Okay.
Jimmy,
Impressive.
another ski village. But Jimmy, I think, yeah, we did split up, and but it has the Zugspitze, which is the highest mountain in Germany, hovering over it. And I saw this office, and Jim, some people going in and out, and a sign said Arbeitsamt. And of course, question, right away, an English proficient German youth said, "Oh, this was a hiring center, and they're wide open to foreigners, even Americans, who may want to work for a short time." Though, Jimmy, that got my attention. And it played a critical role later when it was time to decide either to go, Jim, or to stay. So,
Yes. Yeah, that did prove very impactful for you.
yeah.
So,
Hmm.
all right. So let's talk about that village of wood carvers and passion plays, Oberammergau. Your thoughts?
Jimmy, well, that famous back in the 30 Years' War, the 1633, the bubonic plague was knocking on the door of Oberammergau. The people made a promise that every 10 years they would put on the Passion Play,
Right.
if they were spared, the bubonic plague by God. And sure enough, it happened. And so ever since then, they've been putting on the Passion Play every 10 years. And the next one is in 2030. But Jimmy, I don't think we would have had that Oberammergau experience again if we hadn't serendipitously met some backpackers who've been there and encouraged us to check it out. So, Jimmy, what was the Oberammergau experience for you? What was it?
Well, in previous videos, we talked about moments of nirvana, and
Ooh,
Oberammergau was definitely one of those for me.
really
Yeah.
dark. Interesting. How so, Jimmy?
Well, first, the youth hostel there was one of the nicer ones
Mhm,
we'd ever stayed in, and probably
mhm,
the nicest one we ever did stay in. And, my memory plays tricks on me, but I always thought we had the place to ourselves. But when I check my journal, it seems that we met up with some girls who were also there. I don't know if
mhm.
you remember Yvonne from South Africa. She had a star piercing in her nostril. And that was unusual back
Jim,
then,
Jim. Yeah, that
at
is, yeah,
least in the
very unusual.
States. And
Yeah, very unusual.
talking to her, I was trying to listen to her, but I kept wanting to scratch my nose. I had to refrain. But anyway, and we also met Paige and Lisa, who we had previously met in Heidelberg. So it was fun to meet up with people at different points
Yeah.
in the journey, you know?
Yeah, Jim, yeah, that is interesting, and that happened, Jim. But it is interesting. Your journey never mentions the guys we meet, but just the women.
Well, remember, 22-year-old brain.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I
All
didn't
right.
get very many phone numbers, so that tells you something. But anyway, this hostel had a fantastic view of the
Yeah.
mountains,
Mhm.
including the closest one, the Kofel. Kofel?
Yeah.
Kofel?
Yeah. I think maybe Kofel, Jimmy. I like how you
Kofel.
said that. I
Mhm.
remember that as usual. We had split for the day, and I had gone to
Yep.
explore the village, and well, and I didn't know where you headed. But when we got together in the afternoon, Jim, back at the youth house, I was in the lobby with that fantastic view, and you came in. Jimmy, I saw immediately. I don't know, when you came in, a different person, Doc. You were all excited, alive.
I'm not sure how to take that, Banks. Is that a compliment?
Yes, Jimmy, yes, definitely, definitely, of course. I
He's
should have said
alive. He's
more,
alive.
Jimmy, more excited and alive than your usual self. But Jimmy, you started telling me that I had to absolutely climb to the top of Mount Cofel. The folks, this mountain's about 4,000 feet high, small, by mountaineering standards, but it's not an easy climb. As I learned when I took Jim's advice and climbed the next day, are you ready? Near the top, I'll never forget, Jimmy, you have, oh my God, what Jim get me in it? You have to pull yourself up via a single steel cable.
Yeah.
All right, no harness, nothing. One miscue, and the next stop, 3,800 feet down below. And is that where you experienced your moment in Nevada, Jimmy?
Yeah, actually, yeah. And by
Oh,
the way, I
oh,
hope they have something a little safer than that single cable.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's
But
mhm,
anyway, there was a
mhm.
little comic moment of reality, uh, once I got up there safely. And I remember thinking, wow, I had really accomplished something
Yeah, yeah,
incredibly
yes,
difficult and unique.
yeah,
And then I got
yeah.
up off my hands and knees and I'm in front of this huge wooden crucifix, and I wondered how the hell it got up there, such a dangerous ascent. But then, and
Oh,
then, to top it off, I saw, a bunch of names of people who had been to the summit carved right into the crucifix. So apparently, a lot of people had made the not as difficult as I thought ascent that, you know, that I had. It was a nice little reality slap.
yeah, Jimmy, it was, wasn't it, Doc? Well, at least for the two boys from, flat northern Ohio and
Yeah.
Jimmy. But come back to this moment in Nirvana. What about?
Okay, yeah. Well, when I got to the top, the scenery was so breathtaking. It was
Yeah,
overwhelming. I mean, I actually started laughing. I have no idea why. I just couldn't believe that I was there, that I had done that. And I felt incredibly lucky and grateful. And I couldn't
yeah,
wait to tell you about it. But
interesting.
beyond that, it seemed at that moment that all my internal debates about going home in a month
Yeah,
to start a
yeah, yeah.
career, my brother
Mhm.
Bob had offered me a chance to work with
Yeah.
him,
Remember
or
this?
staying
Yeah,
to travel the world, those doubts went away.
yeah.
Not only was I going to travel more, but I was going to fulfill my dream of writing a novel right there in Oberammergau. The
Yeah,
youth hostel, the youth hostel with that incredible
yeah.
view was, bound to produce an international bestseller.
Oh,
But
Jimmy, yeah. Oh,
but when I
Jim.
eventually came down from
Yeah.
that high, that natural high,
Yeah, the
reality set in, and we
yeah.
left Oberammergau 2 days later. But before we leave it, Binks, was it as impactful for you as it was for me?
Jimmy, I don't know if it was as impactful for me, but it was definitely one of the highlights, Doc, of the entire journey. You
Okay, well,
know?
why? From the height
Yeah.
of nearly 50 years ago, what do you see or what do you think when you think of Uberamagao and the Kofel?
Well, Jimmy, just that magic moment. We make it up, we see the cross and
Yeah.
all those names. I think, oh my gosh, probably 5-year-olds are carved their name in there. It seems that when we think that, we've made an accomplishment, achievement so special, so unique, but in really, they tend to be normal. And Doc, it's funny, just reflecting a little bit as on that journey, I was thinking, oh, that'd be neat to do a movie, of either a father and a son or a mother and daughter climbing that Mount Kofel at various times in the 20th century. It might have been before World War One, then the next time during World War One, and then between World War One and World War Two, the 30s, and then doing it during World War Two. It would be interesting to kind of capture the how the relationship between the two, but then going up there, it just was interesting. Jimmy,
Well,
the
maybe
other.
maybe Steven Spielberg is watching. We'll see.
Maybe
Wait
we'll
for that
see.
call.
Okay, Jimmy. But Jimmy, it also Oberammergau reinforced my love of travel.
Yeah.
Jimmy, just as you were debating about what to do in a month, when the year rail pass expired or run out of money, it got me thinking, what I was going to be doing maybe for the rest of my life. And I even thought, oh, this travel, Jimmy, you know what I mean? It expands our horizons. And the type that we were doing had great discipline in it, Jimmy, as far as finances,
Hmm.
behavior. It's a confidence builder. And I thought, well, maybe, who knows? Maybe there might be something in the travel industry. So, and I'll say it again, Doc, serendipity. Travel is full of those moments, but more importantly, so is life, Jimmy.
That's true. Lots of introspection took place in Oberammergau. Although you mentioned disciplined, I'm not sure that we were all that disciplined. But that
Yeah.
introspection, that's one of the biggest
Yes.
benefits of
Yes.
traveling the way we did. Time to
Yeah.
think, time to
Yeah.
appreciate, or as we've said in previous videos with Joe Dowd, time to absorb. And
Yes,
yeah,
Doc.
just I think that's one of the biggest benefits.
Yeah, Jimmy, I agree. And it's kind of unexpected. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
No, you think you're going to be focused, Jimmy, but then, all right, here we go, Doc. But soon we realized that time was running out
yeah,
on our year rail passes, and we needed to stop, kind of introspection and hit the road again, Jimmy. All right, so where are we going now? Switzerland.
Switzerland.
All right,
Yes,
Jim. So until then, friends, remember this one word. Are you ready, Jimmy? This to wish
try
everybody a good day.
serendipity.
Serendipity, everyone. Great, Jim.
Oh well, close. Not really.
All right.